Some of the Kendrick stands have been posting shit like telling me they're gonna take out my family on like pictures of my child, my daughter. God. Let's not jump to conclusion, guys. Maybe the Kendrick stands were joking. We don't know. But speaking of jokes, one of my favorite jokes from Bill Burr set is when he talks about black athletes and a touchy subject that, it may stem from the transatlantic slave trade and the genetic advantages that black people may have. And as he touched on that touchy subject, and only kind of like a genius way that Bill Burr could do it, he just does it just right? He knows exactly when to punch down, punch sideways, and relate with the audience. But the punchline, I'll never forget it. And when he says, I know the room just got awkward and quiet. And he stops and he says, listen, I'm not saying that black people can't become scientists or doctors, but I'm just saying, in a race to the microscope, you would be first. I'm just saying. And I laughed my ass off. And I thought about it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the difference. And that's what I've been trying to tell you. As we've now established that black people can take a joke, let's go back to Andrew Schultz here, brother. Because again, it's not just about the fact that you're telling these jokes. You're telling these jokes that don't hit, right? You're telling these jokes with historical context to it, and you're not aware of that, right? So when you go sit there and you start immediately with essentially what you're accusing other people of, right? But then you say the nation of the game while still pleading for sympathy from the audience. There goes that colonizer mindset again, right? Attack, and then seek sympathy. So anyway, Andrew Schultz now then sits down with brilliant idiots, and I've been clamoring for Charlemagne the God and whatever other minority he likes to use to shield himself, and say, what are you guys gonna have to say about it? So we first discussed, and I told you guys, hey, Andrew Schultz, you're going to meet the Kendrick call members soon. But other than that, we keep losing the plot. In fact, the person involved keeps losing the plot. Your first error, brother, and you keep trying to muddy it up as jokes, is that people were talking about the black-white effect. You then took it as an opportunity to punch down on black women in a situation that's supposed to uplift black women. In terms of when they were interracial dating. Okay, cool. Then the next thing is you decide to, in your words, I guess, clap back at Kendrick Lamar, and you decide to use graping rhetoric, right? Okay, cool. Now you're sitting there essentially half copping pleas, half trying to justify your stuff with Charlemagne the God. And to Charlemagne the God, brother, you also going back and forth. I don't think we should be policing comedians. It's, again, not about policing comedians. But at that moment right there, when I saw Charlemagne as your black friend, I realized that was the difference between Bill Burr and Andrew Schultz. Bill Burr's black friend in comedy was Patrice O'Neal. Rest in peace to Pat. And one thing I know about Pat, if you corny, Pat'll call you out. This idea, and these are two edgier to comics than Andrew Schultz. Bill Burr to me and Patrice O'Neal, edgier than Andrew Schultz. The critique here is techniques. There's a way to do it. You're using cheap techniques around stereotypes to get your work off. That's the bottom line. And Charlemagne, who I thought was smarter, will sit next to you, proximity to blackness, and will just condone it, apparently. That's all he's got to say to it. I'll attach both clips so you guys can watch it for yourself. But, ran over. The disclaimer should be given that unlike Andrew Schultz, I don't think, even if anybody wants to joke about your family or joke about your kids, that's a good thing. I don't approve of that. Right? I got lines, but all I'm saying is if historical context, stereotypes are not your lines, and doing it right, those are not lines for you. Just listen. Open your ears and listen.
The problem is people want to be tough guys and they don't do the tough guy act properly. You can't be a tough guy and then turn around and be a victim. Like, you need to anticipate every outcome and you need to be ready for it. Whatever it happens, you have to be ready for whatever outcome. As soon as you played your move, you can't dictate how other people are going to react and be like, no, you don't go there. This is the limit. No, it's not the limit. You joked about raping someone. People are being raped. It's not a joke to them. People get raped and unalived in the process. It's not a joke. It's not a joke to joke about something like that. You joked your joke. Now they're joking their joke. And there's no thing of such a thing of saying I'm drawing the line. You're drawing the line because it's now getting personal to you. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. You can't dictate to me how I move my chessboard because you are now offended by my move. You are now offended that I'm acting some type of way. I'm acting some type of wara. That I'm not humbling myself enough for you. That my reaction is not the reaction that you expected. Now you want to stand there and play goofy ball. You were tough. You were making those jokes. You were unlining yourself. By the way, Kendrick was not even talking to you. But you were in your booth. You were in your booth. So caught up in your booth. And now you do this white man mentality victim thing that they have going on in America. Practically just about anyway. And then you pull that act. Oh, I'm a victim. I'm being attacked for no reason. And then you have that woman next to you. Now, I don't know. Like, are we really that desperate to make money? Are we really that desperate to make money? I'm just curious. Are we that really going to just, like, she's a woman. And there's another thing. She's a woman. She's a woman. And a man made a joke about raping someone. The very same man, like, that looks like her can I just do anything to her? That is the harsh reality of it. Because I don't trust you. The minute you joke about something like that and be like, I'm gonna be raping you, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. There's not something to play with because when you are bored, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to spend your time. And we, like I say, lately we use the term comedian very loosely. Like, anyone gets paid. That guy who was laughing on your podcast, it sounded like he was being paid to laugh at this point. Really, just stop this. If you really wanted people to leave you alone, you shouldn't have made that kind of statement. Now you want to police people on how they should talk, how should they move, because you're offended. And now you use your sensitive thoughts to make yourself look like a victim. You started this. That's the problem. You started this. And it's shocking how you're electing for a tough guy on a podcast with a weird mustache, looking like a creepo. Sis. And as for that Salamain, same bus.